Welcome to Market Makers, everyone. A very special midweek market update for you. Normally, I put these videos out, as you know, on Mondays, but everything we have been talking about for weeks is coming true. The Dow made a new all-time high yesterday on a closing basis and is pushing up here pre-market. The market's not open yet to make a new all-time high. The S&P just cleared resistance to give it a runway to make a new all-time high. Yesterday, the FTSE in the UK, new all-time high. Euro Stoxx 50 big blue chip companies in Europe, new all-time high. Bitcoin is holding its lunar low down there at 98.8. Just this morning, it was crossing the boundary again above 105. Guys, the face ripper rally is going to accelerate. We have record shorts on the market, just like in April. Just like at the April lows, hedge funds are so bearish. They're talking down the market on the business news. So the ill-informed YouTubers are just parroting the same things. Everything's doom and gloom, and they're going to miss out on yet another major leg up in all of these markets. I think we're going to see S&P push towards 7,500 going into the next year. I think you're going to see Bitcoin push up to 140, 150K, just like we've been talking about. So I got a lot to cover. But this video is brought to you by SimpleFX. They've been with me for a long time, guys. If you want to trade all of the markets, crypto, stocks, equities, Forex, commodities, check out SimpleFX. It is a fantastic exchange with the Market Makers VIP link. You get up to a 50% first-time deposit bonus, up to $5,000. If you live outside the U.S., almost everybody can trade there. And the best thing about it, you can trade stable coins. You can tie your bank account to it or deposit via your bank account if you wish. Check it out. Use our Market Makers VIP link. It helps support this channel. All right, so let's talk about what we got going on here for ES. We're going to cover ES, NASDAQ, and Bitcoin and Ethereum here in this video. This is doing exactly what we talked about the last few weeks. Remember, I told you at the new all-time high, we're just going to get a pullback. I had the little trend reversal box. We went down 4.29%. We held the 18 RMA, of course, and we're pushing back up. But the key resistance point here from a Fibonacci standpoint, we're going to look at this. Pull your fib down from your all-time high to that 4% low there, 786, and it's what, about 45 minutes till the market opens. 68.90 here on ES that you have to get above. You're at 68.94 to take out that all-time high, which has been my prediction. The all-time highs are not in. You have to get 69.53. If we get upwards momentum with the market open, a little bit more euphoria, you're going to see this taken out possibly this week, right? Easily could possibly be this week. This has been a move in the market that most people were telling you the market's going to go down 20% by the end of the year. The bearish sentiment's huge. The amount of puts on the market is huge. And when those puts get squeezed out of the marketplace, you're going to have the Santa squeeze rally kick into full effect. So flip 68.90, hold it for support, and then your stones throw away another 50 points, and you're going to a new all-time high. And where is this going to lead ultimately? 7,000 to 7,500 has been my target since Q4 2024. I think you're going to end up closer to 7,500, and this thing is just getting started. And when I say that, what do I mean? You're still in fear, and you're about to make a new all-time high in the largest market in the world. The people have been out there talking down the market. Again, the doom loop on YouTube and on X, repeating it. Look at this. Look at the Hindenburg Omen indicator. I'm telling you, the cycle overrides the bullshit. The bullshit is everybody talking down the market that doesn't understand what's happening. Earnings have 81 or 85% beat rate. One of the best beat rates this whole cycle. Growth in the marketplace. You're having expansion of margins. This is good for the market. You're going to run up more. You can debate whether it's a bubble or not. It doesn't matter to me. Markets top, markets retrace. I expect to find some type of major top in 26 and then a large retracement. We've talked about this many times. But overall, if you're not long, you're going to be missing out on a big leg in the marketplace. So this is what I see happening on ES. We look at the canary, it's still bullish on the daily time frame. Volume bouncing up off the lows. Momentum's about to turn back up. You need to continue up, take out the all-time high. Then you just have that psychological number of 7,000. And that'll be, again, this is so early still. You have the rest of November, all of December, and technically all the way out to the spring equinox in March. But I think what's going to happen is a compounding factor of performance chasing in the marketplace. Remember, 80% of Wall Street, 80% did not beat the S&P this year. And you know who they are because they go on Bloomberg and CNBC and they talk down the market. Let's look at NQ. NQ's lagging because of all the fear being instilled about the AI trade. Michael Burry talking about shorting Palantir and NVIDIA, but this is going to accelerate as well. You need to cross 26K. You're at 25,801. Get above 26K, clears out your runway to get to 26.4, new all-time high. What's that target on NQ? 28.2. That's your target. But again, if this thing runs or if this thing compounds and gets jet fuel pulled on it, you could see this NQ get up towards 30K. Maybe that happens going into 2026, but I expect big moves in this. You held the 18 RMA as well, just beautifully here in your uptrend. You've done it the whole uptrend. So beautiful holding there of support. Your canaries turning back into the bullish territory. Your volumes basing. Momentum still bearish on a daily time frame. We want to see all of this turn up. Most importantly, you'll start to see that, especially as you get closer to the all-time high and ultimately take it out. People are going to close their shorts, reverse their trades, flip the longs. You're going to see this accelerate. And the government should be reopening this week officially. So let's look at this. If we look at total. Remember, this is switching to cryptos here. Total is really important because it's all the money in crypto, and this is the quadrant you want to get in. And what did total do? We had our wave down. We had our hook back up. Automatic reaction. And if this is the low, we want to hold a higher low. This is the quadrant we want to get in. 3.5 trillion to 3.9 trillion before breaking out to the upside. Once you cross 3.9 trillion, matter of time getting to new all-time highs. So this is good. Crypto right now is beta. It's lagging. You have the big trading houses like JP Morgan out there saying they expect Bitcoin to get to 170K in the next 6 months to a year. I think it's going to happen faster than that, but that's what they're saying. And people say, well, who cares what JP Morgan says? They control billions and billions of dollars through various funds, and all the trading houses are copycats because nobody wants to be wrong. So this is good for the overall sentiment for people out there that are thinking, hey, should I get into crypto? What's it at now? Bitcoin's just above 100K. Man, well, I like Jamie Dimon, and Jamie Dimon says it's going to 170. Maybe not Jamie Dimon, but his organization says it's going to 170. Might be a good time to get the crypto. So overall, it's a good sales pitch for crypto, but this is good. You retested the liquidation wick lows, and you're moving up, right? And again, guys, it's crypto. You can pull back. This is normal, but we want to see the lows hold. That's the constant theme in all of this. I told you the October lows in the markets would not get taken out, and they did not get taken out, and you want to see your lows hold in crypto. It's just as important. If we look at Bitcoin on a Bitunix chart on a 3-hour time frame to get more candles, here's your fractal trading range. Here's your lunar low, November 5th, right? 98.8. And what did you do since then? Very basic TA. Sell off, automatic reaction, higher low, lower high, higher low. Made a new high in this little trading range, and you just sold off yesterday for another higher low. Overall, when you zoom out, just look at the trend. You're making a series of higher lows. You're combating this with higher highs. Where will Bitcoin actually start to accelerate from? Nobody's going to tell you exactly, what the catalyst is going to be or when it takes off. I personally think if you see the NASDAQ breaking out to new all-time highs, you're going to see a lot more upward momentum in Bitcoin. But from a fractal standpoint, Fibonacci standpoint, you want to take this out, the 107. This is your Livermore pivot on top of your trading range. You want to take this out. Maybe you pull back again, get a little W before you do it. 107.5. Once you take out 107.5, your next key resistance is 111.250. And the best resistance, 116.4, lining up with a 618 from the all-time high. That's what you need to flip, because when you flip that, this is going to give you a corridor, if you can hold this as support, a corridor to take out your all-time high of 126, okay? This is all about gains in the market. It may do it in a stair-stepping fashion. You may get an explosion. I do not know which will be the case, but right now, you had your sell-off. You have your rebounding off the lunar low, making higher lows. If you do something like this, come up, pull back again. By the way, guys, every time it pulls back, people are going to tell you, this is it. This is the crash. And watch what happens throughout the course of November and December, because I think once you break that all-time high, guys, you are stones throw away from 140K. Remember what you're talking about. You're talking about Bitcoin. You're talking about beta. You're talking about an asset that moves at 2.5 to 3 times the moves of the NASDAQ and their correlation. So let's look at some indicators here on a 3-hour time frame. Canary RSI, just turn back to bullish. Most importantly, you have your lows, your higher lows, all in trend here. Look at your volume, your lows, your higher highs, and of course, small time frame, but your momentum. Higher lows, all in trend. You want to see this go. I want to see this cross 107.5, but be aware, we're going to have volatility and chop until we have some clear breakouts in these larger markets. You got to remember, just one stock, NVIDIA, is bigger than the total market cap of crypto. So it's very important to get those other assets to start moving higher. But this is exactly what we wanted to see, guys. We've been talking about this for weeks and weeks. You got a very weak retracement, 20% on Bitcoin, when historically it's done much larger. The last 2 big retracements we covered, over 30%, right? But they came down to the same exact settlement point on Bitcoin. Where is that chart, by the way? I had that chart handy. There, is that it? Let me see. This one. Yeah. This chart. This is the chart. Remember, each one of these had the lunar cycle for every single low, okay? I stripped this down because I was doing some other work on it. Held the 27 RMA. You did the same thing again, and all you have here on a weekly time frame is that little baby candle. But again, if it holds the low, this gives you so much room to rebound higher. Multiple patterns. 140 to 150 is my realistic targets. But again, I told you, we've had 168 as a max bull target, and now you have people raising on top of me. You still have Tom Lee saying 150 to 200. I'm just giving you realistic targets based off Fibonacci, but I definitely think we're going to hit these targets, and you're going to see this acceleration. So it's important to hold the lows. Hold that 98.8. If something bad happens, a bearish catalyst happens, Trump says something the market doesn't like and it does this, people are going to tell you it's collapsing again. It's not collapsing unless you sweep those lows. If you take out the lows, you're going to 94K. That's the next stopping point, okay? But if you hold these lows, the trajectory with the cycle is up. Just understand that. I don't want to keep repeating myself like a broken record, but I know we get new people all the time. We look at Ethereum. This played out absolutely beautifully on Ethereum, coming right back down to the 618 with a great entry there at 32.17. And if you look at Ethereum, it's holding up actually better than Bitcoin. But when you look at this, I mean, again, guys, low, higher low, higher low, higher low, high, higher high, higher high. It's an uptrend. If you have a bearish mindset, you're going to look at this and say, well, it's a flagging pattern. This thing can easily break down. But again, the cycle is more important than a pattern. That's why you don't see me sit here and say things like, well, I got this one candle and this is really bearish. This means the market's collapsing. It's not how it works. Candles go up, candles go down. The underlying cycle is the most important part of the factor. You're going to get pullbacks, which is what we got. You're going to get corrections in markets, which is what crypto got. But overall, trajectory is higher unless what? Unless Ethereum takes out 3,055. You are in a bullish trajectory here, and this is already up 20% at the high here off of the low. Bitcoin was up 8 or 9% off of the low. This is your Livermore pivot. You want to see Ethereum come up and take out this high. This high right here at 36.50. You're at 35.75. Once you take that out, you'll have more upside trajectory. And again, the big number on Ethereum is 42.29, which is your 618. See, look at that, right with your fractal highs, okay? So just beneath that, your little lower level here might get some resistance. basically 4K. So let's see Ethereum, if it ping pongs, as long as it keeps holding these higher lows, if it ping pongs up here, if it breaks out, comes back, it might find some resistance at 4K, come back down. Ultimately, you got to flip 4K, you got to flip 42.29 and hold it as support. When you do, it's about that basing process to move up to take out the all-time high. I have 5,500 and 6K. Again, my realistic targets on Ethereum. That's where I think it's going. You're at 35.75. These are massive gains in the market. All right, guys, hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. And check out my market updates, crypto updates. I'll put those out again on, Monday? And be sure, if you want to join us, guys, you can click the join button on YouTube, jump over to our Discord. Love hanging out. I'm there 6 days a week. I say that, but I think I'm there every day. But I try to take Saturdays off. But great group of people there. Follow me on X at Market Canary. Take care, everybody.